Alrighty, gang. Now, this is something I thought would be kind of fun and interesting. Take a look at it. It's from the Wrestling Flashback channel. Once again, please make sure and check out their channel, support their channel. This is 10 wrestlers who got legitimately pissed in an interview. Now, when I read that, the first thing that pops to mind, of course, is David Schultz and John Stossel. But let's see what else is in here. And I'm assuming that's going to be one of them.
Say it again! I dare you to say it again! Randy. Call me fragile! I will headbutt your teeth through your skull!
Historically, it was rare to see wrestlers being
Randy,
on widespread media.
We all know that Randy had times in his life where he was a little on edge.
It was tied to controversy.
No one would believe me if I came through with this 7 years ago.
We had consulted with Mr. McMahon about the advance immediately. He's just been denying everything. I didn't wait 1 minute.
Such controversy usually led to some eye-opening interviews, a number of which we're highlighting today.
You're just so big, and you come out of the world of pro wrestling.
We're done. I have never
What was that one about? With Brock? I don't remember this one.
failed a drug test.
Oh.
I injected.
Oh, I'm so, because you're so big, he's asking about juice. It's probably part of what you're going to get asked if you're a big guy, whether you're doing it or not.
Hogan was steroids many times.
Many times.
Many times.
A dozen
Hundreds
times.
of times.
Hundreds.
As we cover 10 of the...
Was Hogan on juice? Duh. But is David Schultz the best source of any information? Yeah.
wildest mainstream wrestling interviews.
Oh, wait a second. He just slapped him?
Hundreds.
As we cover 10 of the wildest mainstream wrestling interviews.
Yeah, a little bit. I love tap. Oh, yeah, that's what... Well, that was... what's his name? I can't think of that guy's name. He was a stand-up comic and had a short-lived show. It's gone right out of my head. But Hogan wasn't mad in that. He was just stupid. He locked him in a front face lock, basically a guillotine choke, and then he's surprised that he freaking choked him out. I think when he gets up, watch the back of his head. I think you can see the blood dripping down the back of his head.
After this word from you-know-who.
Before we start...
I can't think of his name. But yeah, that wasn't anger. That was stupidity. Mr. T sitting right on the couch. It was the lead up to WrestleMania 1.
Wrestlers in an interview is by questioning if the sport they do is real.
Oh,
this question,
you
one similar
can't
to
get
it,
pissed
has been
about it. You're
asked
going
in
to get that all the
different
time. But
mainstream
yeah.
interviews.
Well, of course, back in the kayfabe days, it was a big deal. I shouldn't say that because I'm from the kayfabe era, and it was a big deal then. You had to protect the integrity of the business.
Zero. None at all? Nothing. I broke so many people's thumbs because I would explain to them, listen, you can't see pain, you can only feel it.
I think this is fake. You think it's fake?
There it is.
What's that? Is that fake? You think it's fake? You come like that with your face? Easy.
They say...
Nobody's stepping in there either. What was Stossel? Maybe 130 pounds? See, again, I'm an old school guy, so I understand the protecting the business. But even back then, you had to expect that question. Well, obviously, why would you ask it nowadays? The business is out. We all know what's involved. But to get that pissed, I don't know.
This wrestling is not
You're just protecting it.
You act or...
Oh, that's not a good guy to get worked up.
Does that feel fake?
But for this entry, we're going back to 1999.
That's
when
a
the
big
stars of WCW appeared on Bill Myers' politically incorrect show. Myers started the interview off in a bad tone as he archaically...
We all know that, oh, gosh. White, I can't remember his first name. I apologize for that. We all know that he could be a little unpredictable at times. Good old Vader.
Raised suspicions of wrestling's legitimacy.
People know that you're not really beating each other up.
Okay, we got a long...
Just stop right there.
The wrestlers shut Bill down straight out.
The
You're
only thing
telling me
that's
that you're
fake
really
is-
hitting each other?
When a metal chair cracks your back, that's not fake.
With Roddy Piper in particular putting Meyer firmly in his place.
There's
Well, that's-
never a bruise on any
That's
of
what...
you.
Never... Whoa.
7 years it's been broken. Owen Hart, dead. Why don't you go tell Mrs. Hart what a joke it is?
Meyer
Now, see, that's the thing, too. Now, that's where interviewers like Marr go too far. If you obviously, and we all know this now, I guess, but again, it's the old school in me gets me worked up. If you're going to say it's scripted, sure. If you're going to say it's fake and nobody gets hurt because it's fake, you're a moron. I played all sports growing up. I was always a sports freak. Nothing beats you up like wrestling, like professional
Then shifts
wrestling.
gears, saying how the
Brutal.
violence in wrestling sets a bad example for audiences, to which Bobby the Brain Heenan responds with a fun point.
How about Popeye cartoons? Here's a guy that doesn't speak English well, rips open a can of spinach, and then knocks out a big guy. That's how they end the show.
Maya concludes the segment with a
Good
new
point.
appreciation for wrestling.
Well done.
that Clearly didn't have
Well done,
before.
Bobby.
You know what? You guys have me. I don't know what's real and what's not.
Michael Landsberg
Well, that's where Mars stepped over the line. And you guys never have a bruise. Are you fucking kidding? Jeez, that's all you have are bruises. You're lucky if that's all you have are bruises.
posted some great out-of-character wrestling interviews on TSN's Off the Record in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Would you do what Deborah does?
Which is,
Puppies?
as my father put, that I heard, I'm not quite as built as Deborah is.
They're just smaller puppies, that's all.
But thank you. You don't have to elaborate.
They're cute.
Examples in
Shane, that's a little creepy, bro. They might have been cute, but you don't observe that on your. Well, you know what? WWE's got to sell tickets in Alabama too. Okay. For any of you who don't know, I'll give a brief rundown. Alabama destroyed my Fighting Irish of Notre Dame in 2012 in the national championship, and I have vowed ever since to do nothing but throw stones at Alabama until
when Hulk Hogan
we get
and
our
Mick Foley
revenge,
threw shots
which may
at each
never
other
happen.
in separate interviews.
I would probably say I've trained more in the last week than Mick Foley's trained in 30 years. I went ahead while Mick Foley was sleeping and eating cheeseburgers and M&Ms. I was in the gym working out.
I think if Hulk Hogan were to have wrestled me, he would sound more or less like a whiny girl in a porno film saying, not so fast and not so hard, because he didn't like the contact.
One of the
Go man, not so fast and not so hard. That's I don't know. I think that's bullshit from Hogan. If that's legit, if that's shoot, that's bullshit. Because again, when I do these videos, I point out all the time, I'm not looking to shit on anybody. Everybody's got to find their way in this business, and I have nothing but respect for people who put time, effort into it, and the pain it takes, so on and so forth. So Mick Foley never went the bodybuilder route. He didn't need to get over. It wasn't his gimmick. It wasn't my gimmick. I mean, I have a fighting background, but that wasn't the core of my gimmick. It was the violence involved. It's Hogan.
Landsberg's best interviews was with CM Punk after Punk had agreed to fight in the UFC.
I hope you don't find this disrespectful, but have you actually taken a real punch?
You're going to ask me if I've ever taken a real punch in the face?
Yeah.
You obviously hadn't seen some of the guys I was wrestling in the WWE.
Landsberg poked fun at Punk to
Yeah, you're gonna get punched in wrestling. Just sorry.
try and get the Chicago native
You're
to
working
fire
on
back, given the Second City
gaps
Saints
of this much.
outspoken reputation.
Are you kind of pissed off with the questions that I've asked?
They're very wrestling centric, and I'm here to talk about UFC. You have an agenda. It's okay.
Oh, I don't have an agenda, but what am I going to ask you about UFC? You're not a UFC fighter. You don't have a fight scheduled.
It seemed to work as Punk ultimately called out Landsberg for how the host was behaving.
Wow, I didn't
You try
see
to
this
be
one.
friendly. You try to act like you're my friend, and then when you get me on camera, you try to act like the cool kid in school. So you want to play innocent and defensive when you're not on camera, and then when you get on camera, you want to act like you're hot.
Landsberg in turn threw shade at Punk for drinking coffee outside the interview as the segment came to a close.
And it is disrespectful somewhat to be drinking coffee or tea while you're in the middle of an interview. I don't know if you do that all the time.
That's a stretch. I guess you can make that case if I was interviewing somebody. See, the way I look at things like that, and I've been in entertainment for a very long time, if I was interviewing someone, I want them to be comfortable. It's not like he's making loud slurping sounds or something. He's taking a sip. I think guys
I gotta stay awake on
just
DSN.
reaching.
I need my caffeine.
All right, Punk, well played. As you guys know, I'm not a huge Punk supporter, but he can be solid at times, and that definitely was.
Let's go look at a case
That
where a
was
wrestler felt he
good
was
for you,
asked to
Punk.
appear on a show under false pretenses.
He was 100%
Diamond
right.
Dallas Page was interviewed on Nancy Grace
Disingenuous
in 2014
bullshit.
to talk about the sudden death of the Ultimate Warrior. Instead of celebrating the Warrior's life, which DDP believed he was going on the show for,
Right.
Nancy tried to connect the Warrior and other wrestlers' premature deaths to steroid usage.
Oh,
He's admitted
jeez.
that he used
Yeah, back in
steroids.
the day, a lot of we all used them back in the day, but
Whoa. No, we didn't all. I've never used a steroid. Why do so many die at such a young age? I mean, you've got to take in.
See, well, I'm not a big fan of gotcha journalism. If that's what you wanted to have the conversation about when you booked DDP on the show, tell them that, and I want to talk about, the prevalency of early death.
Into account the steroids.
It's not
and drugs.
like journalists give a
You
shit.
gotta look at where it is today.
On Sam Roberts' SiriusXM show, Page later noted how upset he was after being set up by Grace.
Because I was so pissed.
How far into the interview did you realize, ugh?
Oh, pretty quickly.
Oh.
She started talking about the steroid scandals and blah, blah, blah. Like, wait a minute. That was 25 years ago.
What do you do after the show? Like,
Yeah,
what
but
do you do once
that's
once
how you
the
get
segment's
clicks.
over and she goes, well,
Come on,
thank you,
DDP.
Dallas, for joining us.
But I know I said something in a way of like, go fuck yourself, but I didn't say that.
Sam Roberts later addressed the false claims made by Nancy.
You should have said that. Let's be right up front about it, DDP. You should have said that.
During his interview with
Don't beat around the
Steroids
bush.
weren't involved in the Ultimate Warrior's death.
No, they were not.
A lot of wrestlers see your report and come back at you with venom, saying you're not representing us, you're not telling our story, and this what you're portraying isn't what's happening.
And I'm sorry they feel that way.
But
I really don't know what else you want me to say.
Something Grace didn't take kindly to.
You haven't
I'm
asked
saying-
one decent question since I walked in here.
Aw.
Everything both of you have asked has been an attack. I think our time is up.
So the whiny bitch don't like it when it's the other way around, huh? Oh, what a surprise! This whole thing's pissing me off. I never liked Nancy Grace to begin with. Now I hate Nancy Grace.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
You can
Go
leave
fuck
if you want.
yourself.
Don't worry, we're not going to kill ourselves after the interview.
The Benoit family tragedy was also linked to steroids.
In other words,
leading
get
to
out.
a who's who of wrestlers appearing on mainstream TV to discuss the events of what transpired and the possible motives.
Chris Benoit asked for time off last year, 4 months. He was given 4 months off. For what anybody wants to say, if he had any problems, he could have taken care of them in those times. He could have asked for help. If he chooses not to ask, there's nobody else can help him.
Yeah, see, that's a tough one for me because, okay, we all know about the CTE and this, that, and the other, and this is something I can talk to you guys about from a place of personal experience with the post-concussion and all the major trauma that I've suffered over the years. I just don't buy that he snapped one day and that happened. There are warning signs. There are things that you should have been aware of. There are things that I'm aware of all the time, and I have everybody around me watching me for symptoms.
As you sit here and deny that you've ever seen any sort of kind of roid rage, which also seems to kind of stretch credibility. But what if, in fact, that it does come back?
Have you ever taken steroids?
That it was because of steroids. Then
I'm
what?
asking you a question. Have you ever taken steroids?
No, I have not taken steroids.
And she can prove it because I don't think you get that muscular thing. Thank you very much, Kevin, for being with us.
I'm just saying, you're doubting my credibility. I've taken them and I haven't seen it.
All right, so we thank you very
I know
much
that's
for your
not
time,
what you
Kevin.
want to hear.
No, it isn't what they want to hear, so you're going to get cut off. See, I never took steroids. I'll tell you guys anything. Seriously. It's not like I'm in denial. I didn't need to. First of all, I wasn't a bodybuilder type of wrestler. I have decent strength. I've been in gyms my whole life, and I have a decent bit of natural strength. But the big thing was my gimmick was violence. I didn't need to be a juice monkey. A lot of guys in the business take steroids. I don't have a problem with it. If that's what they need to get them over. I have seen, though, in gyms, roid rages. I don't know, Kevin's got his own thing. I've seen that. Part of taking them, and it's just no different than getting drunk. You're going to deal with the fallout from the things you do while you're under the influence. This is really good. I like this a lot. I'm going to cut it here and let you guys tell me. You want to see more of this, of my reactions to this? Because I'm enjoying this.